Jerry Jones goes off the rails, and if you didn't think I was going to come get a piece of this today, you were sadly mistaken. Welcome inside the Gray Area. I'm your man, Kevin Gray. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to find me on DLLS Sports covering the Mavericks and the Rangers. Jerry Jones went completely unhinged during his weekly radio appearance on Tuesday with Sean and RJ and Bobby Belt on 105.3 The Fan and showed incredibly delusional defiance when discussing his football team that's 3-3 coming off an ass whooping to the Detroit Lions on Sunday in historic beatdown fashion where they lost 47-9. And oh, by the way, they're trying to get ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers, a team that's had their number for years now. Jerry Jones getting questioned about this team and the lack of moves that they've made this offseason and whether or not it's accurately playing itself out and the struggles that we've seen from this team so far through the first 6 weeks. And when he got those questions, he lost his damn mind, threatening radio host jobs, losing it when it comes to what he thinks this team should be doing, whether or not he should be questioned about it, and why he's getting the kinds of tough questions that actually would keep him accountable for the team's lack of performance week in and week out, and why this team hasn't been able to secure an NFC Championship game appearance in damn near 30 years. He couldn't take it, and he lost his mind. In fact, here is Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan on Tuesday, losing it to the tune of threatening cats their jobs. And you take a listen and see how you react to it. Take a listen.
Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why. A job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Jerry,
okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Well,
now, listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans and a lot of great listeners, and I am very sorry for what happened out there Sunday. I'm sick about what happened Sunday. Now, I'm not talking to these yahoos on the end of this phone. I'm talking to you, the fans that are listening this morning. And we can spend a lot of time going over zigging and zagging. One of the stupidest things I've ever done that anybody has ever analyzed is by the Cowboys. It was an idiot that did that. So idiot things can turn into good decisions. Okay? Smart things can turn into bad decisions. The facts are that when you make one, you don't really know whether it's going to be good or not.
Whoo, boy, Jerry hot under the collar today saying, look, if y'all think y'all as smart as me, y'all can come to these meetings in Atlanta and come do my job for me. And that's the problem right there. Jerry's egotistical mind thinks that he is the best one to do it. In fact, he told my boy Clarence Hill that he's the best effing guy to do this and handle the GM duties. It's clear that he has no idea what he's doing, despite the fact that he thinks he's a football guy. And I, for one, am sick and tired of Jerry insulting my intelligence and your intelligence, thinking that he can do this job better than anyone on planet Earth, because it's clear that he has no idea in hell what to do with this team and how to figure out the best ways to help this team moving forward. My boy Jeff Kavanaugh said it best. He wants to win his Super Bowl his way instead of trying to figure out what's best for his football team and using modern ways to be able to build his team. And Jerry, now as defiant as ever, sticking to his principles and being as stubborn as he can be, you can see how much the pressure is getting to it. And maybe this is the thing that Cowboys fans have been looking for. I've been looking for somebody to hold his ass accountable for the mistakes that he's made in building this football team and trying to continue to look through the lens of the things that he's done well in order to have the success that he's had prior to what he's done over the last 30 years is a terrible way for Jerry to go about his business, and it's an old, archaic way to think about what kind of success he's going to have moving forward, trying to build and parlay off of what he used to do back in the early 90s. It don't work like that anymore, Jerry. And if you're going to continue to insult the intelligence of fans who told you about the issues that this football team had during the offseason, you're going to get the kind of vitriol from fans and people who watch and cover this team that you deserve, because you seem to not have an idea of what the hell's going on with your football team. If Jerry thought that he was going to be surprised, or he was going to be surprised by what he saw on Sunday, he has no pulse on idea on what his football team actually is. And that is the scariest part, that he was surprised about the product that he saw on the football field after what the Lions did to him on his birthday, no less. And for Jerry Jones to get up there, threaten people's jobs, and go full on unhinged is downright scary. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's exactly what Jerry Jones has done. More on this when it comes to Jerry Jones and what he is and what he isn't, and what he did in showing off his tail today when it came to his radio appearance. But before we get there, let's hear from today's sponsor of our video and our podcast, and let's hear from Aura. Today's video is sponsored by Aura. This year has seen a number of high-profile data breaches, raising serious concerns about personal information security. Dell suffered a breach exposing 3.9 million customer records, including sensitive personal information. AT&T disclosed 2 breaches, one affecting approximately 2.5 million customers and another one impacting 9 million customers. And finally, Ticketmaster experienced a massive customer breach affecting over 560 million customer records. But most alarming of all, just a few months ago, National Public Data announced that they had suffered a major breach potentially affecting every American. The incident compromised over 2.9 billion records used for background checks, including critical personal information such as full names, addresses, date of birth, phone numbers, and most importantly, social security numbers. It has been confirmed the members of the hacker group have released this sensitive information online for free. If you haven't been taking your online personal information seriously, now is the time to change that. You're more vulnerable than ever in today's digital landscape. Thankfully, I feel secure because I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, across billions of data points like the dark web and public court records to alert you about potential identity theft. They also provide up to $5 million in identity theft insurance in case the worst ever happens. Plus, Aura offers a variety of other features to keep you safe online, including real-time alerts for data breaches, a VPN for secure browsing, data broker opt-out to stop companies from selling your personal information, a password manager to help you create and store strong passwords. I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable to data breaches. And if you don't want to either, you can go to aura.com/Kevin Gray to try 2 weeks for free. That will be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. Oh boy, Jerry Jones, as I mentioned, going completely on his radio interview on Tuesday. By the way, if his Cowboys defense had been as defensive as Jerry was in his interview, they might be a lot better too. But the point of all of this, in the way that Jerry lost his mind during that interview, is the fact that when you look at his team and what they are and what they are not, it is in the image that he's created. There are questions about whether or not this team is soft. And if it's any indication on whether or not you feel like, or I feel like, that the Cowboys are soft, look no further than their owner, who acted like a petulant child when getting the kinds of hard questions that are deserved to be asked of him based off the lack of success that this team has had in terms of championship success over the last 30 years. If he cannot handle the kinds of questions that are accurate and fair based off of what he hasn't been able to do to make this team successful, he needs to get the hell out. Because at this point, when you look at his ownership, and yes, the success that he had in the 90s, all the businesses that he's created, and the impact that he's had on the National Football League, if he had the same kind of energy and fervor that he had in his radio interview, his football team might actually be better. And you can look no further than the fact that the Buffalo Bills extracted more value from Amari Cooper than what the Cowboys did a couple of years ago when they moved him to the Cleveland Browns. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't do a good job of being a general manager for this team, and his fingerprints are all over the inability for this team to be successful and why this team looks like they are spiraling toward down a season that is not going to amount to much of anything. That is the fault of Gerald Wayne Jones, and the vitriol that's being spewed his way is the culmination of years and years and years of fans looking at him and then looking at other teams around the league thinking, how come this Cowboys team can't do some of the things that the Chiefs, that the Eagles, that the Rams, the Buccaneers, all these teams who have had championship success over the last 5 to 7 years, how come the Cowboys can't do some of those things? Because nothing is going to change. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care who the players are. The one thing that isn't changing and will not change for years is Jerry Jones owning this football team. And the way that he showed his tail on Tuesday shows me that it's time for him to go. There are other people who are qualified to do the job that he is holding down right now. And if he thinks that he is the best one to shepherd this team toward another championship, he is sadly mistaken. And his delusion is so far gone that it's never coming back at this point. And here's the thing. Will they get any better under Stephen Jones? Because that's a real question that we have to start asking ourselves, even if Jerry Jones decided to fire himself, which we know he won't do. Will it be even better, or will it be better under Stephen Jones? That's a question that we'll have to eventually find out. But what we found out on Tuesday is that Jerry Jones feels the pressure, and it's about time that he be held accountable for the things that he has not been able to do to handle this football team toward success. And for the Cowboys, they've got to look themselves in the mirror based off of what they are going forward for the rest of the year, because even with all the turmoil, all the injuries, all the inconsistency, they are still 3-3 and have a chance to win this division. And there are some that may say, Kevin, this was a perfect idea by Jerry Jones to keep the Cowboys name in the headlines during the bye week since they aren't playing. And it's a calculated move to conjure up the kind of fake anger that gives people the idea that he actually gives a damn about the football team that is the owner, president, and GM of. And maybe that is the case. Maybe the carnival barker that is Jerry Jones decided to make a move to try and conjure up anger, fake or not, to be able to keep his team in the headlines. And if that is the case, if he is conjuring up fake anger to keep his name and this team in the headlines, this team is so far gone and ownership is so far gone, it's never coming back. And unfortunately, the players who have to work for this owner see what happens every single day. They can try to tune it out as much as they want to, but the idea is that Jerry doesn't want any of us to tune it out, because that's what he wants. He wants his name, his team in the headlines every single day, and he got it done again on Tuesday. Congratulations, Jerry. Congratulations. You look like a damn fool out here, unhinged and looking like a guy that has no control over his emotions and the ability to handle tough questions when they are fairly posed to you based off of what your team isn't doing. If that's the case, it's time to go, because this team could do better based off of what they're not getting from its ownership. But hey, all we're here to do is to watch the circus continue to go on, and Jerry Jones will continue to be its ringleader for better and now what appears obviously for worse going forward. But hey, you did it, Jerry. You got your Cowboys in the headlines, and they are going to remain there for the rest of the week because you have no idea how to handle yourself when stuff gets hot. Maybe the seat needs to get even hotter for you to eventually get out. But we all know you'll just threaten other people instead of taking accountability for what your own mistakes are for this football team, especially when it's fairly asked of you. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kevin Gray Sports, here on YouTube. This has been The Gray Area. I'll holler at you later. Peace.